What's up with you boys and girls? It's your boy right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. You're checking out a special breaking news. I've been staying on top of the NBA action for you guys. Got some more news to follow up with you all, as if you didn't check out our last piece, we were talking about LeBron James coming home to Cleveland. Check it out after you get done with this. But man, if you are a Washington Wizards fan, you're going to love this, and it only serves right that I talk about this since we are from out here in the nation's capital. It looks like Paul Pierce, yes, Paul Pierce is going to be heading to the Washington Wizards. I repeat, Paul Pierce is going to be coming to the Washington Wizards. You guys probably know him best for his work with the Boston Celtics from 1998 to 2013. Spent almost about 15 years over there. In 2008, Finals MVP, 2008 NBA champion. Yes, that Paul Pierce is going to be heading to the Washington Wizards. And it's so funny because I was actually seeing a little bit of the feedback that was coming in. I would say earlier last night, because that's when I really had first heard about it and everything. It was like almost right before I had went to bed, and I was just seeing some of the reactions that was coming in as it was trending on Facebook. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but there's like this really cool feature on Facebook. I think it's like on the main page of your profile page or whatever, and you can kind of see like what's trending, what has people talking. And I saw it said Paul Pierce heading to Washington. I'm like, huh, what the hell? And I clicked on it, and it said Paul Pierce is heading to the Washington Wizards. And just some of the reactions that was coming in from some of the people, they laughed, they heckled, they thought that this was a really silly, dumb move. They weren't really sure what the hell to make out of this. And I just kind of looked at that and I said to myself, okay, why is this silly? Why is this a bad thing? I mean, the Wizards had advanced, what was it, guys, like to the second round of the NBA playoffs. I mean, they took out the Bulls in Game 5, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people were under the impression that Washington, oh, well, you know, they have a really bright future ahead of them. They're moving along very well, but there's just no way they're going to be able to get past the Bulls. Everybody, like practically almost every single analysis specialist that I had saw, they basically were giving the series to the Bulls, and the Wizards were able to come on back, and they were just able to beat that behind of the Chicago Bulls. And it's funny that we're talking about the Chicago Bulls because I got some news about the Bulls that I want to touch upon after we get done with this. But I mean, Wizards is really coming along very, very well. I mean, you got John Wall over there. I mean, my God, where do I even want to begin? Do I really need to talk about the Washington Wizards to those of you that aren't really sure what's going on with that team? I mean, I'll be straight up honest with you guys. I'm not really a big Wizards fan like that, but from time to time, I do love a really good Wizards game, especially when it's one that's very close. I do love that. But Washington Wizards, I will say this, man, I've really been quite pleased with all the work that they've been doing. I mean, hell, they just re-signed Marcin Gortat. My God, I mean, look, you guys just do all the homework on that. I'm not going to even try to educate you with that, because those of you that's sitting up saying that the Washington Wizards, well, that's a silly team for Paul Pierce to come to, go educate yourself a little bit more. And you know what? You must have not been watching what was going on this past season that I was watching. Now, look, here's some really good Paul Pierce facts. I mean, this guy is only 36 years of age, so he can still contribute in a big, big way. Of course, you all are definitely familiar with him after being with the Boston Celtics. There was that year there where we saw him and Coach Doc Rivers just get poof, you know, just leave the Boston Celtics. It was some type of a trade deal that was going on or whatever. And honestly, I think Doc Rivers, who would go on to become the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, I think he got the better deal than Paul Pierce, quite honestly. But looking at how the season had first began for Pierce when he was with Brooklyn, I mean, they were off to a very disappointing start. and then leave it to the injury. That what's that guy's name? It's gonna come to me in a little bit. Brock. I can't think of his last name, but he had got injured, and Jason Kidd had decided to move Pierce to power forward, and he was really just posing a serious threat on the offense and the defense. And it kind of seemed like after that, the Nets started having a pretty damn good season, large part thanks to Pierce. Not only that, but he's the 18th leading scorers, that is, in NBA history. If you want to talk about who the other ones were, check this out. This is a very interesting list. Jotted down some notes right here. Oh, and we should also note that on top of being the 18th scoring person in NBA history, he ranks one of the fourth all-time scorers that has played for the Washington Wizards. Check this out. The other three, Michael Jordan, Moses Malone, and Elvin Hayes. All right? I mean, that's insane. Also, earlier this year, before the season was out, he scored his 25,000th career point, becoming only the fourth active player in NBA history to reach that achievement. So, I mean, that's just, I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do with the Wizards. And you know what? He gave Wizards their props a long time ago in an interview. He was talking about how it seems like they have all the right pieces that's coming into play. They're in a nice rebuilding process. He gave the Wizards nothing but praise. So a lot of people that kind of maybe get the impression that this is something that's happening from left field, I'm not even getting that vibe at all, quite honestly. Other news that I want to tell you about, because we were just briefly talking about Chicago. It looks like we have the second coming of Carlos Boozer, who's been kind of disappointing for the Bulls, in Pau Gasol. Yes, Pau Gasol, the two-time NBA champion, multi-time NBA All-Star appearance. He looks to be heading over to Chicago Bulls. And man, I don't know about you guys, but having him be acquired by the Chicago Bulls, that's going to be a damn serious team to watch for the Eastern Conference Finals, I think, in the chase to the playoffs. I mean, I think business just picked up in a pretty big way. You know, it's so funny, too, because the Bulls, they were trying to go after Carmelo Anthony, but in the end, as you all know, they weren't able to get Carmelo. So instead, they did the next best thing. They were able to go ahead and grab Pau Gasol. You know, it's so funny, too, because, like, at least the past 3 seasons now, we've been hearing the rumblings of, oh, Pau Gasol, it looks like he might be traded away from the Lakers. We kept hearing that, and then we kept seeing that he was able to stick around and all that. And you couldn't help but say to yourselves at the time when you kept hearing that Pau Gasol was going to get traded, well, wait a minute, does Kobe Bryant have anything to do with this? Because you know how much stroke he has in there and everything. But, you know, I think with the injuries that Kobe Bryant has gotten in recent years, definitely the fact that he was not a factor at all last season, you just seen his scoring points just kind of go on a little slight decline. You know, the Lakers organization, especially ever since the death of its owner, you know, they're in a very unique position right now, because they definitely are in a rebuilding process. They definitely have to start thinking about the future, and they're going to have to embrace a future without Kobe Bryant. And, you know, we heard the rumblings for a couple of years now that Pau Gasol was going to get traded, and then looks like it didn't happen. And now Pau Gasol, he's finally been traded away. Honestly, I think this is a very smart move. You know, I mean, he's a big guy, still relatively young, 34 years old, was playing a couple of years there in Barcelona, Spain, before playing for the Los Angeles Lakers for the few years that he was playing. I played for them, let's see, I think from like 2008 to 2014. Let's not also forget, in between that, he did play for the Memphis Grizzlies. But this was a really good pickup for the Chicago Bulls. I feel, and I have close ties to the Chicago area because I was born and raised out there. So I've always been checking up on the Chicago Bulls. I will actually turn on WGN TV over here on cable satellite and check out a good Bulls game from time to time. But I mean, this is gonna be uh, a very damn good season for the Chicago Bulls. Bulls fans, I think, are going to be very pleased by this. Everything that this big man is able to contribute. You just think about it from the whole pass offense, just the way that the whole landscape is going to be able to change for getting those perimeter shots and all that. If necessary, he can definitely go to the hole. But, when I kind of think about Paul Gasol, he's more of a assistant type of cat as far as passing the ball and all that. I think this is really going to help the Bulls out in a very big way. Could they go to the NBA Finals? It's very well possible. It is very well possible. We'll see, man. But yeah, those are two big things that's going on right now. I do want to talk about some more NBA stuff that's happened, but what we're gonna do, just so I can just stay on top of everything, because there's no telling what might happen between now and the beginning of next week. I'm just gonna kick on back, and I'm just gonna be checking out everything for you guys, and then we'll definitely have a recap and the very latest on what all has been happening this summer so far, for what's definitely been a very busy offseason for the NBA as far as free agency goes and re-signings and all that. We'll follow up with you guys on our Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show, which you can catch on Blog Talk Radio, as that's going to be our radio edition. You can catch that at 10 p.m. Eastern. One more time on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show. But hey, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you guys think about the signings here with these cats. I want to know what you guys think about Paul Gasol joining the Chicago Bulls. I definitely want to know what you guys think about Paul Pierce going to the Washington Wizards. So definitely post those comments below. And hey, man, if it's your first time checking us out, I'd love to have you subscribe to us so you never miss out on all the great content that we do for you here on a weekly basis, whether it comes to breaking news, just as we're doing right now, or doing some really cool laid-back reviews, or doing some really fun and insightful interviews. We have a little bit of something for everybody here on our channel. So do hit that subscribe button. To make it quicker, you can definitely subscribe by clicking on the annotation above. And that is pretty much going to do it. Please share this a number of ways. You can Google Plus it, Facebook it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. Make sure you give this piece a thumbs up. And folks, that is going to do it. Oh yeah, real quick, I got some fun news to tell you guys. I had actually went down to Washington, D.C. over the weekend, and I had saw the one, the only, the legendary John Witherspoon. And I'm actually going to be talking about that on our Tuesday night edition of the RCWR show. But just to get a taste of the type of fun that I had, give me about maybe 10 minutes, as it is 12:09 p.m. Eastern over here on July 13, 2014. And if you're following us on Facebook at Infinity One Productions, you'll actually be able to see some of the pictures that came about from that event, as I was able to grab a shot with the man himself. We'll actually go more in depth about that overall experience this Tuesday night. But meantime, yeah, check out our Facebook page. We'll make sure all the links, which should be available right now. So check out the links down below in the episode description here to find our link to Facebook so you can check it out, comment, and all that. All right, boys and girls, that's going to do it. I will see you all next go round. Everybody, take care.